Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to journey back in time to explore a really remarkable ancient dialogue. It's a story where a Greek king's super sharp intellect goes head-to-head with a Buddhist sage's profound wisdom. And together, they use these brilliant analogies to tackle some of the deepest questions about life.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the king and his burning questions, then see the sage's simple but brilliant answers. And along the way, we're going to uncover the timeless power of a really good analogy. Okay, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off way back in the 2nd century BCE, in this thriving capital city called Sagala. Think of it as this amazing crossroads where Greek and Indian cultures met. And the text paints an incredible picture of this place. It wasn't just some city, it was a true cosmopolitan hub, buzzing with trade, ideas were mixing, and it was filled with architecture that was said to rival the Himalayas themselves. And ruling over all of this was King Milinda. Now, this wasn't just some figurehead king. He was known for being incredibly sharp, super curious, and just plain smart. But here's the thing. Despite all his power and all his knowledge, Milinda was just plagued by these deep philosophical doubts. And for years, not a single scholar or sage in his entire kingdom could give him the answers he was looking for. But finally, after all those years of searching, the king's restless mind was about to meet its match. He finally meets Nāgasena, a humble Buddhist monk. And it turns out, Nāgasena's wisdom was more than enough to handle even the king's toughest, sharpest questions. So, the king kicks things off with a huge, fundamental question. What exactly is wisdom? I mean, what does it actually do?
Now, you might expect some long, complicated definition, right? But Nāgasena doesn't do that. Instead, he offers a simple but really powerful analogy.
And notice his technique here. He doesn't just give a dry, academic answer. He starts telling a story. He pulls the king in with a simple, familiar image that anyone can understand.
He explains it like this. The dark, cluttered house, that's our ignorance. The lamp that's brought inside, that's wisdom. The lamp's light doesn't create anything new in the room, it just gets rid of the darkness so you can finally see what was there all along. That, he says, is the function of wisdom.
The king is definitely impressed. So he moves on to an even tougher issue, the nature of the self, and, what happens after we die.
This is a classic philosophical problem, right? If there's such a thing as rebirth, what exactly is it that connects one life to the next? Are you the same person or someone else entirely?
And again, Nāgasena completely sidesteps this abstract debate. He brings it right back down to earth, pointing to something we see every day, milk turning into curd. This analogy reveals something so powerful about identity. Think about it. Is the curd the same as the milk? No. But is it totally separate from the milk? No, of course not. It came from the milk. It's a continuous process. Identity isn't a fixed thing. It's an unbroken flow of cause and effect, where one state just naturally leads to the next. Okay, next up, the king throws out a challenge that's rooted in skepticism, and honestly, it's a question that feels very modern. He's basically asking for proof. He says, how can you believe in a Buddha that you've never personally seen? He wants hard evidence for something that can't be observed anymore. And this next move is just brilliant. It perfectly illustrates Nāgasena's method. He completely turns the question back on the king, but he uses the king's own experience to do it. With that one simple question, Milinda has to admit that, yeah, you don't actually have to see something with your own eyes to know for a fact that it's real. And that's Nāgasena's final point. We can know the source by just observing its effects. Just like you know a great river must exist because you can see its powerful current downstream, we can know the Buddha existed by seeing his teachings, that river of Dharma, still flowing in the world today. So through all of these back and forths, the king doesn't just get a list of answers, he's actually learning a completely new way of understanding things. And the text is just filled with these moments where the king expresses his admiration. You can literally see his initial skepticism transforming into genuine insight and awe.
You know, the real genius of this whole text isn't just the philosophy, it's the method of teaching. It's this incredible skill of using simple, everyday images to explain these huge, profound truths in a way that actually sticks.
And this really leaves us with a final thought to take away. We all use analogies, all the time, just to make sense of our lives. So what are the core metaphors that you use to shape your understanding of the world?